There you are. You get up early Saturday morning and you tell yourself, yeah, I'm going to have a wonderful Saturday. I'm going to watch Manchester United devastate Everton, and I'm just going to set me up for the rest of the weekend. And then plow, like Will Smith, Manchester United just slaps you across the face and says, no, you're not going to have a good weekend. You're going to have a shit weekend because we're going to find a way to lose against Everton. Manchester United losing against Everton this morning. Manchester United 0, Everton 1. There is fallout after the game. Cristiano Ronaldo apparently hit a phone out of somebody's hand. It's being investigated. It could be property damage. It could be assault. I mean, is there anything going right for Manchester United right now? The United already breakdown. We discuss. Down. And inside the house with me, we got the man Greg B. How you doing today, brother?
Uh, I wish I could say I'm in a good mood. I'm a lot better than I was a little bit earlier today because, as we all know, Manchester United basically. How else is there to say? They're ruining weekends one game at a time. It's basically like you said, the whole Will Smith and Chris Rock situation. In this case, the Champions League qualification hopes got slapped out of our faces, and it's like all the Champions League is saying is keep my wife's name out your mouth. That's all they're
Yes.
doing right now.
You understand?
That is all they're not
Good
doing us right now.
afternoon to Mark. Good afternoon to Jeremy. Jeremy, when it is Jeremy, you need to reach out to our brother. Okay, Jeremy. Let me just leave it like that. You need to reach out to our brother. Okay, Mark Lewis is in his house. He said, I told you guys Everton was going to play like Prime Barca. I mean,
I wouldn't say prime Barca, I
that's
would
it.
say prime Inter Milan under
I
Jose
mean,
Mourinho.
Pickford, Jordan Pickford has been a shambles of a goalkeeper. Error after error, looking, have people wondering, this is England top keeper. And today, of all days, he decides to turn to prime Gigi Buffon. You understand what I'm saying? Marcus Rash. In the first 10 minutes, we had two really, really, really good chances. Marcus Rashford with a shot on top of the box. Pickford knocks it out and knocks it on the side. Then Marcus Rashford with a header. Excellent movement. I swear it was Cavani. Tell me, serious, Greg. When
Mm.
last have you seen Marcus Rashford make a cut like that between two defenders? Get up, get the header, put the header down in the corner, which is what you want to do. Put it out, make it hard for the goalkeeper. Pickford gets down, knocks the ball around the post. I mean, it's like wow.
Yeah, I mean,
These
you kind of have
guys.
to ask yourself. You kind of have to ask yourself, where has this Marcus Rashford been all season? Because this is
Well,
shades of
let's
listen.
don't say that
Mhm.
because Marcus Rashford had a good 15 minutes. And not too long, I was in a group chat and I complimented him. I said, "Wait, Marcus looking good today," and then he disappeared. Didn't see him again for the
That's just it.
rest for
So
the
it's
rest
like
of
for
the
that
game.
15-minute cameo, you have to ask yourself that where has that Marcus Rashford been all season? And
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
mind, it's
Where is
like,
that? So
why
Jeremy is
can't
saying
why
it's
can't this? Mhm.
sorry. Jeremy is saying it's frustrating being a Manchester United fan right now. Jeremy, you could say that again. Jeffrey Ken Prime is in the house. Jeffrey is saying, don't know why people are blaming rap. Jeffrey, you take the words out of my mouth. We're gonna get into that a little bit. We're gonna talk a little bit about the game. We're gonna talk about the fallout, what's going on with Ronaldo and this whole possible assault and damage stuff. We're gonna talk about that. And we're gonna talk about how Twitter and social media is exploding with anti-Ralph sentiment, which I don't understand. Seriously, I just don't understand it. But anyway, we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Um, Mark is saying, we so low right now, we painting under the white line.
Wow.
Correct is right. And Ken Prime, I'm just waiting to hear your explanation of what happened after Everton scored. All right, cool. So let's jump into it. I mean, I want to throw this at you one time, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there watching the game,
Mm-hmm.
and in the second minute, Harry Maguire squares a ball to Teles
Mm.
and is like a 15-yard pass. Nobody on Harry, nobody on Teles. A pass you and I could make. A pass your baby cousin could make. And he kicks the ball like about 5 yards ahead of Tellers, and the ball ends up going out for an Everton throw. And 2 minutes into the game, when I saw that, you know what I told myself? I said, why do I get the feeling where Harry is concerned is going to be one of those days?
I
Because,
mean,
I'm
that
like, come on, an unforced error, if ever you saw one, nobody on you. Just cross the ball to Tellers. Harder. You didn't just, harder, no. Kick
I
the ball
think
straight out.
I think with Harry Maguire is just like for him, there's a desperation to want to believe that he can insert his sort of quote unquote leadership, trying to play balls out to the back, and sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes you just have to don't think about everything else around you. Play the simple football. We shoot over hitting passes and turning back into danger. It's like, dude, you're already being made fun of for stuff like this. Don't do yourself any more disservice. Come on.
And then there was another one as well when he was passing the ball back. And first he collects the ball,
Hmm.
turns into danger. This is all in the first half, first
Yeah,
20 minutes.
that's stuff I was talking about.
Yeah, turns into danger and then passes the ball hard to a guy who has a player bearing down on him. And I'm like, come on, Harry. So when eventually the ball does find its way into the back of the net and it takes a heavy deflection off of Harry, which was not his fault. Did you see David De Gea's reaction after that goal?
Look at more or less just like dejection more than anything else. It's like,
I wish we had a hot mic on David. David turned around and was like, tinging his hands down, and you
yeah,
know, he looked, his body language looked like he was saying, "Nah, F you, Harry. F you, Harry. How much times, Harry? It had to be you. Come now, man. That ball wasn't even going in the goal, Harry." It just looked like that, as we were saying. I don't know that it was, but
yeah. We can
the
only
hand
speculate.
movement, like somebody who's like totally distraught, like, nah, I can't believe this. How?
Hmm.
How? 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 I mean,
In a way, you could say David De Gea was every Manchester United fan today.
yeah, does anybody in the comments feel Harry Maguire need a bush back? And if that is the case, what kind of bush? Tell me.
About two
We'll send
thirds of the
Harry.
fan base wants him
We,
sold
we,
anyway. So it's like,
we'll send Harry a package, right? We'll send him some bush with some instructions and let him know what to do
yeah,
because
you're going to give him a Traversiers package.
I don't know that Trevor says a sell bush battle. Though. I just saying Harry need one. Harry needs one. So anybody in the comments, let me know. Let me know how what kind of bush we could send for Harry and fix him up because this fella bitter like gold right now. Sour.
Aye.
Sour. So Manchester United looked okay, but it was a very wild game.
Yes, it was.
Not just in the first half. The whole game, it wasn't. Everton didn't play well. We played a little better, dominated possession, but we didn't play well. You know, you struggle to find a structure in the game. Um, and then they scored in the 27 minute Gordon
Hmm.
with that ricochet for Harry Maguire scored in the 27 minute. And I really got depressed in the second half because in the second half, from about the 60th minute, I'm watching the TV and I'm like, and we're not looking like we're going to score. We just not looking like we were going to score. I started to feel like the slow walk to to the guillotine.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Or the electric chair. It's
yeah,
like
it's like,
you ever seen the movie The Green Mile?
if I didn't have to do this show, I'm not sure I'd have finished watch the game. Sometimes you watch Manchester United, and even in extra time, you have a sense of, yeah, boy, something could happen. And that is so common with this club, especially last season. How many games we won from behind?
I was
But
having this discussion with a couple of other folks in the group as well too. I said that even though before everything went downhill under Ollie's tenure, situations like this, he would always find a way to come back and win the game and finish the game very strong. It seemed like it motivated him more. It motivated the team more when they fell behind because it was an idea like, okay, you know what, these fellas gonna take the foot off the gas because they believe they have an edge over us. Now we turn the screw. That was kind of how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer operated when he was managing. So he's like, you know what? Don't let them think that because they're ahead, that they're safe, that they have the edge. Having a one goal lead against Manchester United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at one point was a sense of false comfort for the opposition because you knew he would find a way to get these fellas to say, "Hey, now's the time we turn the screw. Get at these boys." What's changed?
I mean, and it didn't change now, it changed since Ole was here.
Yeah,
Because a lot of times watching us play while during the beginning of the season, there was that sense of, where is this goal going to come from? I literally was watching the game thinking like, hopefully Pickford could slip and fall and the ball could roll in the net because we were
yeah.
not
One of his
looking,
typical Pickford moments, right?
like we were going to score at all.
Mm.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, neither did Everton. Neither did Everton. This game had a
We
nil-nil
had
draw
Michael.
written all
We
over
had
it.
Michael Keane looking like prime Tony Adams. I don't know what took place there today.
So let me just read through some comments and share, put everybody's voice, out there
Please.
into the sphere of social media. Um, Jeffrey is saying that he's not frustrating for Mina. I'm not losing money or sleep for United. More than 3 years now. Not
Hey,
sorry.
sometimes that's the best way to go at
Um,
it. Yes.
Jeremy is saying that we need a total rebuild. Total rebuild is what is necessary.
How long have we been saying this again?
Well, I mean, that's the hope, right, Mark? We can bring good coaches to Manchester.
No, I think you
Once we
said.
have these players, we will always be in a mess. Total overhaul needed.
I
Big
think remember
Phil.
he said to God. He said God. He said we could bring God to coach Manchester United. That's what he's saying.
Oh yeah, so true. And that's a fact. I just always say that as well. Um, how shit was Bruno today asking for a friend? All I had
He,
to say to that comment is, if watching that game, the only takeaway is how bad Bruno was. We wasn't watching the same game. That whole team was poor. I want to talk.
Mhm.
Let me just read all these comments quickly.
Good, yeah.
Um, Harry could season a whale right now for season.
Wow! Not my come down from there. Come down from there, never. Come down, come down, come down.
Waste!
Come
All
down from
right,
there, Mark. My God.
Jeffrey. When I had my say about Harry from the moment we bought him, made it worse when we made him captain. United fans, especially those at back England, got vexed. Yeah, well, Jeffrey, everybody who was vexed with you then, they're not vexed with you now. Good afternoon to Valentino. He says, to be quite honest, if the hair was not at his best this season, we would be competing with Norwich and Burnley and Watford.
The
Yeah, we would be in
scary part about that is
a
the scary.
relegation spot.
Yeah, the scary part about
Um,
this that part that's pretty much almost true.
yeah, Jeremy is saying, honestly, I fell asleep during the game. I was close.
I glad for you.
I was really close. I literally had to shake myself up to
Nah,
stay
I
awake
was I
because
was
it was
watching
just so depressing.
I was watching close in between. So that's the only thing that kept me occupied. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
All right, Jeffrey is saying, clear to see Ole is not totally to blame. It is definitely the players. He also goes on to say, can United declare the season? But I wish this is one of the times you'll be like, quick sim,
Jeffrey,
yes?
Jeffrey, don't say that. Don't say
Quick
that.
sim.
Don't say that. Tell people go come down for that.
Ken Prime, I'm so unbothered with this team right now that anything after last month,
I think
need
he
a
meant,
bonus.
I think he meant has been a bonus for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, after we get kicked out of Champions League, it's really been a downer.
Yeah.
The season is over, correct?
I think the
No
season
go
over for
next.
everybody.
Oh gosh, don't give us nightmares now, boy. Like we don't even think about
Jeremy,
Liverpool.
Jeremy, you're trying to get kicked off the streamer. Behave yourself, man.
We don't even want to think about Liverpool. We're just trying to digest the
Yeah.
crap of today.
We just lost
Um,
to their neighbors. We just lost to their neighbors who are in 17th.
so and here what makes it even more upsetting. You watch Chelsea come
Mm,
off a really difficult loss in
mm.
Champions League against Real Madrid,
Put six
and
past
they
Southampton.
and they just batter Southampton. They just dominate Southampton. You watch Spurs not play well
And still put
and
four past Aston Villa.
devastate Aston Villa. I mean, right now I am backing Spurs for top four. I was glad Arsenal lost today, and
Okay, we've seen to have a bit of a technical difficulty here. We'll say this much. I mean, this is going to be a difficult week for United fans. You back?
yeah, right. The
Nice.
biggest game for me is Manchester United versus Arsenal,
Hmm.
and we have to beat Arsenal. I don't care if Manchester United get any football in Europe, because if we're not in Champions League, I
It don't
don't
make
really care
sense.
to be in
Yeah.
Europa, and I
Mhm.
definitely don't care to be in the Conference Cup. Let the new manager focus totally on domestic football. You understand? Let Ten Hag focus on getting his system in, not having
Mhm.
to play 3 games a week, play in the middle. You know what I mean? Let him have that time to
Yeah,
build
get
his team up.
acclimatized.
Let the people who come to Manchester United in the off season be people who want to come and work hard to build this team and not just glory hunters. Now, don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with talented glory hunters like Harry Kane, for example. But you know what? This is going to be a proper rebuild. Nobody not going to be
It
coming talking
has
about,
to be.
yeah, well, I go into Manchester, hoping to win trophies. No, no, no. You're coming to Manchester hoping to win trophies. Eventually, you're coming to Manchester to rebuild, to position us to win trophies. You know what I mean? So if we get no Europe, I am not going to be upset. Today's the last day I'll be upset. Well, I'm saying that.
Mhm.
Let me rephrase. Today's the last day I'll be so upset when we lose. You know what I mean? Or if we
Mhm.
drop points. The key for me right now is to keep Arsenal. We don't Arsenal supporters say nothing. Spurs hardly have supporters out there, especially in Trinidad, especially in the Caribbean. Let Spurs make top four. Because I know if they have to play in the middle of the week and on the weekend, they're gonna struggle. So let Spurs make top four. You know that I don't know what you guys think. What you guys think about that?
I mean, let's face it, it's kind of like the lesser of two evils. Right now, like you said, seeing Arsenal lose today, it kind of saves me from some Arsenal fans looking to try and throw me earlier. So I'm like, I'm good. Y'all could stay there and just hush them out and wallow in all their sorrows right now. Spurs, like I said, I don't know too many Spurs fans. I know probably like what, one or two, but they ain't really gonna give anybody no set of talk to say, hey, we better than everybody because I mean, at the end of the day, we beat them twice. So it
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
it is.
yeah. I right now I back in Spurs for top four. Serious. I back in Spurs for top four. Hardcore right now.
And I,
You
I, I kind of
understand?
I want to focus a little bit on the idea of what you said as regards the rebuild taking place. I mean, this is a situation where people need to recognize, as much as Ollie has to take kind of some blame for things that may have transpired. Everything that's happened over the span of the last 5 to 10 years is not his fault. He tried his best. These group of individuals, he got them to finish third and second in consecutive seasons. So he was doing something right. But in regards to these fellas putting in that extra effort to compete, to actually get over the line and win silverware, I think even if he had won the Europa League, it might have just papered over a lot of cracks because there's still a lot of things that are festering within this club that is not healthy, and the changes that are being made, where certain individuals who are making football related decisions are being moved around, and then Ralph is having his say, it helps to know that people are recognizing where the issues are really lying, and hopefully the hemorrhaging can stop now, and we can really rectify the issues that need to happen, because everything from the board up now is being reflected on the football field. It's a chain reaction to everything that's taking place, and now we just have to. Like I said, I think I've just emotionally detached myself from what goes on to the remainder of the season. Whether we win the rest of the games, whether we lose the rest of the games, whether we in Europe, whether we out of Europe, I'm at a point where it's just like whatever happens, happens. That's what I've reached to.
Before we talk about after the game,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk a little bit about players, right? Fred in the 25th minute got injured, had to come off. And I'm thinking to myself, watching Fred coming off, we have had most of our players, most. Cavani is an outlier, right? Most of the core team has been fit for this season, and we have played poorly. This is the worst time for Manchester United to have
Injuries.
a injury crisis, and we don't know what's going on. You know, it may not be long with Scott, right? But a foot injury is one of those things. You may be feeling well, and the day before the game, you're just on practice,
Yep.
and it starts back to give you trouble. That's how foot injuries go. You know, when you're getting pain on the bottom of your foot, is one of those things. Then we have a situation where Luke Shaw has we all know how horrendous Luke Shaw's injury was, and they would
Yes.
have put some screws in his foot to hold down
The bone.
the bone, and whatever work they would have done there. So that is it agitated now, and they have to take out those screws. Now, that is something that normally that doesn't take a long time to recover from, right? You take
Right.
out the screws, and you know, you just it's like two cuts you will have, and that has to heal. But my thing is, why are these screws giving him problems? And if the reason these screws are giving him problems is because, you know, there's something else going on there. So we don't know how long Luke Shaw is going to be out. Rafael Varane, again, we also don't know. And now to see Fred walk off, excuse me, after 35 minutes, that was really concerning to me, right? And then Pogba came on and played garbage. Let me tell you something. Anytime I see Pogba holding up the ball and with his hand out and doing that kind of leaning to the side and the ball on the side and he leaning on the player on this, anytime you see Pogba doing that, you know you're going to have a garbage game.
I think
Anytime Pogba
the
doesn't move the ball quickly, you know you're going to have a garbage game because he
and
starts that way and he keeps doing that. Go ahead with your saying, Greg.
and I think right now it's just like you know Paul Pogba's a talented player, but it's disheartening to see that it looks like he really is struggling to do what he needs to do to affect that game. And for all the talk that people will give about Bruno Fernandes, at least we know Bruno Fernandes will try. At least, in spite of
Well,
of how many misplaced passes. Let me just finish this point. As much as Bruno may misplace a couple of passes as there, at least we know there's intent. At least we know there's a direction. At least we know Bruno has an idea of what he wants to do. A lot of times with Paul Pogba, you kind of find yourself wondering, like, is he ever going to be able to get the ball off? Is he going to try and keep controlling everything, all the shielding that needs to be done? Sometimes looking for the smarter pass would help. I don't know. It's just like I said. I think the entire most of the fan base is done with Paul Pogba at this point right now.
I understand why Ralph didn't start Paul
Mm.
because mentally, obviously, Paul has left the building. But the reason
Yeah.
why I'm so concerned about Fred and the reason why I mentioned Scott, as much as we know these guys aren't top quality for Manchester United, Matic in the 20th minute was looking like if it was the 65th minute.
Matic
Matic
got
was,
Matic got bullied for that first goal.
yeah,
That's the tell you how bad
was
it was.
looking. I mean, don't get me wrong, the pass to Fred to him wasn't the greatest because he had two guys on him, right?
Yeah.
But still, Matic was been even before that, he was moving a little slow. He was moving. I was like, why Matic moving like a 65 minutes in the game played? You know what I mean? I just couldn't understand it. So when we have that kind of inconsistency from our best CDM in Matic, and we don't know what's going on with Fred, we don't know what's going on with Scott. Paul Pogba has already left the building, right? We have Paul Pogba's body, but Paul Pogba psychologically is in PSG already or wherever
or Juventus, or wherever he wants to go.
in the summer. What is Manchester's midfield gonna look like? You understand? How are we gonna be able to see out these next 7 games?
I just will say this though, Judd. I look at it like this. People will have said to me if I had when I had said that I believe that Fred can have an impact if given a proper opportunity. A lot of people laughed at me and said I was a madman. Now, people are saying that we missed Fred's impact. Remember, I did the video a few days ago, and I said that Fred has become a bigger figurehead in Manchester United going forward because of the energy that he gives.
Facts.
Fred may not be the most technically gifted player, like you said on a couple of occasions. He's the most un-Brazilian you've ever seen. But he gives energy, he gives work rate, and something that is given. What? Oh my god! Wow, Mark.
Mark on our road today, boy.
What,
Just don't make no jokes about
behave
nobody wife, Mark. Just don't make no jokes about nobody wife. You're on a real road today.
I think as long as you're not in a position to get slapped, I think he should be fine. But yeah, we ain't really condoning that talk about people's wife and thing. Yeah, but Lord, boy. Wow, who is this?
For those who might
What
just
matter
be
do you, boy?
listening, those who might just be listening and didn't see Mark's comment. Mark says, "I have condensed milk that runs faster than Matter today."
Matter take your girl. How you want one Matter so?
I want to read this comment from David De Gea after the game. David De Gea said, "We can't score. We don't even create proper chances to score. I don't know what to say, to be honest." I mean, does that just sum it up right now for you, Greg?
Yeah, that is the talk of a deflated player at this point because he's seen where the season has ended up. There were ideas of what it might have been, and now where we are is a far cry from what we had really aspired to expect from this team. Because you look at the players that you have on paper, the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho, Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, Rafael Varane in the back, David De Gea as your goalkeeper. There are a lot of teams that would kill for players like that in their starting lineup alone.
Not they would kill for the talent, not for the mentality.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just it. The talent wise, that is a wonderful collection of players to have. But if the attitude that is displayed does not match the talent that is there, then there's no point. I like it's like Oli was saying when with the whole Alexis Sanchez situation. I'd rather have a hole in my squad than an a-hole. I'll just say that. I don't want to say the actual word, but it just goes to show you that you can be as talented as you are, but if you're not really willing to graft and put in the effort that's needed to perform in this team, then you serve no purpose. And I think that is where it starts. I mean, Sanchez and Lukaku were just probably parts of the puzzle of players that just needed to be moved on and replaced. The rest that are still here have a certain too much level of power. You kind of have to recognize that sometimes you have to cut your losses. You can't tell me. Sorry. Let me just finish
Go
this
ahead,
point.
yeah, finish. Yeah. Go ahead.
You can't tell me that you've had Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and now Ralph Rangnick, and you have the same group of players. 4 men can't be as problematic as that. I mean, bar Jose, because we know he comes with natural toxicity when he's ready. But at the same time, all these individuals who have tried and tested to do certain things with this group of players, and
I was watching this game and you know what I asked myself?
Mm-hmm.
If Ten Hag sit down watching this team right now, what would he be thinking? I know managers watch games differently because they look at the technical aspects.
Yeah.
But the intangibles, Everton wasn't playing well, but they obviously wanted it more.
Yeah.
They wanted it more. They were hungrier. They were more aggressive than Manchester United. So, if Ten Hag was watching this game, what would he have been thinking? Like, It just speaks to how much work he has to do. In the second half, we had two chances.
Mm-hmm.
We had a long range shot, well, not that long, outside of the box from Paul Pogba that again Pickford got down and saved. But that one, he definitely should have saved that. Any competent goalkeeper should have saved that. And then we had a
That's
ball
probably the most
falling to
Pogba did for the day.
Cristiano Ronaldo, and he brought it down well, swiveled and didn't catch it properly. And even that was fortunate because Pickford didn't actually save that ball. That ball hit him more than he actually saved the ball, right? And that was Cristiano Ronaldo's only real shot on goal for the game. As far as the game goes, I think that's all. I don't know what else could be said. I want to address a little bit the whole shift. Ever since the whole Ten Hag coming in has been settled, I've seen a real shift of the fan base to being anti Ralph Ragnick. You know, I see people talking about, you know, is there any way we could fire Ralph now? And I asking myself, we have 8 games to go. How is that even a conversation? How does that even make sense?
Yeah,
If
I
we,
mean,
you know, even if we, let's say we were to boot Ralph upstairs quickly, no, who gonna coach the team?
yeah,
Technical director Fletcher.
you ain't gonna bring back Carrick? Come on, man. I mean,
I don't even understand why fans even saying that. How is that helpful?
let me
Go
tell
ahead.
you something. Let me tell you something. If you need to have a logical discussion with Manchester United fans, I'm going to tell you in 4 words: stay off of Twitter. Because in fact, let me pull up the screenshot and just show it to you guys because I couldn't believe this when I saw it. I was scrolling through Twitter because usually I get some information from there. But today, what I saw was absolutely shocking from some of these individuals. This here, let me put it up to the screen here. Anybody seen the title of this?
Call it out, read it out.
It says Ralph Ranick has failed and should be moved on in the summer. People, he is the interim manager. Keyword interim. He is not there on a permanent basis. If you would put down the crack pipe for 2 seconds that you've been smoking, you'd recognize that he's going to be moved up. If that was the case, then if he was there on a permanent basis and needed to be moved on, what would be the point of getting Ten Hag in the first place?
I think
I realize it's like
supporters-
2 plus. I realize like 2 plus 2 does make 10 in some people's head, because it's like they'll say anything just to sound like they're making a point.
there are a lot of people that, and it's natural, it's human nature. So I'm not saying that we don't do it, that I don't do it, right? Good afternoon to Martin Phillip. But it's natural for people to want to blame. Who to blame? You understand what I'm saying? Who do we blame for the way the team is playing? Who do we, and because Ralph's record with this team is so bad,
Yeah.
you know, it's very easy to just blame Ralph. But when you sit down and you watch the games, how you could just easily and so flippantly blame Ralph when you could blatantly see players underperforming? Talking about players underperforming, Manchester United TV reported that 4 players were going to be fined for underperformance during the game. They didn't name the 4 players, but I really look forward to you know, that is what we need. We need, you know, we remember when the Glazers said that they were going to implement that.
Yeah.
And Ralph said that he didn't think it was a good idea. And I understand where Ralph was coming from because players, you know, again, players more agitated. But I understand now is the time to get players agitated because let who wants to be agitated get agitated and hasten their exit out of the door. Why, you know, you're not performing? Let the club find you. Experience hurt in your pocket if that is what it needs to motivate you to perform. What say you?
Yeah, because I mean, let's face it. Look at the kind of money these guys are making. They're literally making people's livelihoods. Some of them make what we make in 10 years in probably 2 days. You look at this situation and you telling yourself, all right, these fellas not performing to earn that money, then fine. If I was your manager, I'd dock your pay too. You got be underperforming like that and then expected to get a full salary. Nah, 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 nah. That don't make no sense. So if it means that you have to feel the consequences of it, because let's face it, the fans are suffering. The our position in the league is a constant reminder of how bad we've been all season. Who else do you have to look at besides yourself? If you're wearing a jersey with this crest on the front of it, then you have a responsibility to put your best foot forward at all times. That's a basic requirement of any management. And I keep telling people this. You can get everybody to learn certain technical aspects, but you cannot coach desire and determination and work ethic. Those are qualities that the individuals themselves have to discipline themselves to find. If they can't do that, then they don't deserve to be here.
When the game started, I had a little hope because I felt even though the game was disjointed, we came out with some degree of aggression. But it just didn't last.
Mhm.
As the game went on, Everton's aggression grew and ours diminished.
Yep.
And we were the team chasing the goal.
We
You
look
know,
like
we
we were
were
the
the,
one in relegation battle. That's all. That's
yeah,
all it
we were
was.
the team chasing the goal. So in the 64th minute, Matic and Rashford came off, Mata and Ilanga came on.
That was a weird one for me
Also,
because in my mind is like, all right, Juan Mata hasn't. How? When was the last time Juan Mata played a football game?
yeah, but Juan Mata could move the ball forward. He could
Well, that's just it, and I
make
figured
the play.
that was the only reason to bring him on, because he was someone who'd be able to progress the ball forward. But it,
The game was so disjointed. You needed somebody with a little
Mhm.
composure on the ball to hold the ball and pick your passes. And I think that was the reason for one today.
and it didn't really change much because there was little to none to if we're being totally honest, because how much of an impact did one really have? And don't get me wrong, this is not me attacking Juan Mata. I love Juan Mata. I love him like a brother, but at the same time it's like, bro, you really didn't really do much in this game. As much as I love you, if you had gotten physical with Alan or somebody, that you was gonna get bullied.
Well, you see that speaks to the fact of how much of a rebuild we need. That in a game where you're chasing the game, the player that you had to bring on is a youth prospect,
Mm.
right? And a agent one matter, and that's what we had on the bench. That sums up Manchester United right now. That's Manchester United right now. So when people say we need a rebuild, it's no joking. It's not just attacking players. We really need a rebuild. You know what I mean? We need a proper starting 11, and we need quality of the bench,
Yeah,
especially next season with
this,
5 subs. I
this
mean, come on.
this whole team just needs a downright the equivalent to what you would say cosmetic surgery, because almost everywhere is in need of a touch up, from the spine of the team in itself in the midfield to the defense. I mean, the defense still needs some work because we definitely need a right back. As much as Wan-Bissaka put in a few good fair tackles as well too. Going forward, he was a liability.
I think coming in the last 15 minutes, Juan definitely got himself into the opposition box. That
Mhm.
ball that he pulled down and shot. I mean, the truth is, it had a lot of bodies between him and the goal, but him
Yeah,
pulling it down and shooting, and you can't complain about that. Um,
yeah.
Defensively, sometimes you just wonder why he goes to ground so much. There are times when maybe the better option would be to stay on your feet, you know.
I think I
But
think he loved playing. I think he loved playing in the grass a lot when he was a child. So it's like it's like he's at home when he's on the ground.
I hear that. I hear that.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
that is uh, before we talk about Cristiano Ronaldo and the situation that played off when they were leaving the pitch and heading into the dressing rooms. Which two players stood out as the best for you today, and which two stood out as the worst for you today?
Okay, as regards the worst, there's too many to choose from. But let me go with the best. For me, well, obviously De Gea would be number one because in spite of the goal, he really put in a performance. I have to give him that. I can't be mad at him for that. As regards a second player, that is way too hard because it's like there wasn't really anybody that stood out for me. Honestly, this is yeah. I really can't think of anything. I really can't think of a second player. Yeah, you're muted, Chad. You're muted. I can't hear anything. Chad, you're muted.
Oh, sorry there. I said that's why I was just saying, let's pick two players. It don't make sense going through this team for player rankings today. It don't
Yeah,
make
but
any sense at all.
yeah, but who in the outfield there? Can you really say had at least a half decent performance?
I was talking to somebody and they told me Mata was our best player. And I couldn't argue with them simply because he wasn't worse than the people who was on the pitch longer than him.
But he didn't really do anything that much better though.
Exactly. That is
So
exactly my point. He didn't do much, but he wasn't worse than the people that was on the pitch before him anyway. So I don't know. I don't know who to pick as the two best players.
I'm sticking with
before,
my one player. I sticking with De Gea. Isn't it? I can't pick anybody else. It'd be a crime if I put anybody else in as the two
the
best
whole
players.
team just underperformed for me.
Yeah, collectively.
So it's even hard to pinpoint two players as okay, yeah, these players was just the worst. Nobody,
For me,
everybody was just substandard today.
I'm gonna say this. Maguire was bad. Maguire was bad because it's like there was a lot of times he played himself into dangerous situations, and that was unnecessary. And this is not going to sit well with a lot of people as the worst player, but I'm going to say it anyway. My second worst player today was Cristiano Ronaldo. Why? Here's why. Because a lot of times, yes, he was not getting much service, but at the same time, he was not putting himself in positions for me to really get an opportunity to do more on the ball. Yes, there were times he dropped deep, but when you needed him to be in the dangerous situations, he was a ghost.
You see, I don't mind Cristiano Ronaldo coming to help the build up,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you're not a hurricane.
That's it.
You're not putting serious passes and crosses in.
Mm-hmm.
He will come to the top of the box, get a ball, and just square it to a player right on the side.
Mm-hmm.
A 5-yard pass. And then when you are there, who is in the box for that player now to cross the ball to? So I totally understand what you are saying because I
Yeah.
saw it as well. If you're coming out as an attacker, if you're coming to help the build-up play, you need to help the build-up play. And if you're not really helping the build-up play, it's best to just stay in the box.
Stay up front, yeah.
Stay in the box, be a point man, be a target man, or be a facilitator. But when Ronaldo comes out, does he really facilitate?
Not really.
No,
He'll
he
probably make
doesn't.
one or two passes and then just try to find his way up.
So I hear you. I understand what you're saying. So as we are on Cristiano Ronaldo, so when the team was walking down the tunnel, apparently
Mhm.
there's some footage out there, and it's being reported by ESPN that I'm not sure if it is a supporter or if it was somebody who was an Everton supporter,
I
you
think it was
know,
Everton supporter.
but somebody had a phone up. Obviously, as people normally do when they see these stars, the caliber of Cristiano Ronaldo and just players on the whole
Mhm.
passing, and Cristiano Ronaldo struck the phone out of their hand. So they
Mhm.
would have had the phone and he struck it out of their hand. And there's talk that, apart from property damage, because it hitting something that belongs to somebody else, and we don't know what was the state of the phone after, that there's possibility of possible like assault charges. But I doubt that. Even if it is a rival fan,
Mhm.
who would not want the opportunity to say, yeah, Cristiano, can I get a signed shirt or a signed pair of boots instead of pressing charges for assault for Cristiano Ronaldo, where you're absolutely going to get absolutely nothing? How are you going to
Mhm.
benefit from that?
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
we can have to remember that. Remember, at the end of the day, what he's accustomed to, the football stadiums, a lot of them in England, some of them, especially at Everton's level, they're very small, they're very compact, so the fans will be very close to the action, very close to the players. So
And I
you're
mean,
gonna. You're gonna
I
get that with where he was in Juventus and all these other clubs. Remember, they have it real spread out, so you're not really gonna have that direct interaction with the players as much.
I think Cristiano Ronaldo is a very controlled person.
Usually,
And I remember earlier in the season when we were having a bad game and he kicked a ball while it was on the chest of another player.
yeah,
You remember that?
yeah. I think, yeah, I can't
And
remember.
then there was a point in the second half where he kicked a ball into the stands and got a yellow card. Kicked a ball very, and you know what I thought to myself when I saw him kicking the ball? I'm like, I understand you're upset, but God forbid that that ball hit somebody and they got injured. That is not going to be a good look,
No, it's not.
right? And worse yet, you are Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, the media loves to come at stars.
Yeah,
And then you're walking down the tunnel, you're upset the team lose, you're upset probably from your own lack of performance, the whole team underperformed, and then you do that. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo has to understand that this spoiled brat mentality may have worked when you were in your 20s. It doesn't work when you're a senior statesman in
yeah.
football.
You're 37 for God's sake. You have to be smarter than that.
You know, and I don't know if it's something he does because he thinks it improves his image in the sense that it makes people, when you see a player react like that, it's hard to criticize them for effort. It's hard to say, well, yeah, well, he was past it. He didn't bring it today because you're seeing that passion. So like you didn't see it on the field, but you're seeing it him lashing out. So as a fan, we instinctively think, well, yeah, he's passionate because
Nah,
even if a whole team.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying
But
that. I,
I'm
I think
wondering, is that
I
why he does it? Do you think that he thinks it panders well to supporters? Or do
let
you
me tell
think
you.
he really just lacks control sometimes? Because I don't
Let me
believe
tell you
that.
what my old coach used to tell me when I was playing secondary school. They used to tell me, he's like, okay, you're upset that you may have missed a chance or that you missed a tackle and things went bad, but beating up the floor is not gonna help anybody. That's just wasted aggression. You see what you did wrong there? Make sure to improve on that, and you keep that aggression in the game. Allow your opponent to recognize, hey, you're mad that that happened, so it's not gonna happen again. So always, sometimes you temper your aggression to the point where it's exhausted on the pitch itself in the middle of play. Don't waste it getting frustrated because it doesn't help anybody. That moment has come and gone. Just get up and keep going. If the final whistle blows and things still haven't worked out, then you can be upset. But it's always up. You always have to keep your aggression tempered to the point where it doesn't make you look petulant. It doesn't make you look immature. So sometimes that could come across in a different light. And it can be taken the very wrong way. And add to the fact that someone's phone got damaged, the media will have a field day. Chad, unmute.
Of course. Sorry about that. I was just looking at the scores. I said, it'll be good for us to just run through some of the scores.
Good.
So Arsenal also lost today. They
Uh-huh.
lost to Brighton. And I predicted this loss. I just felt that Arsenal was going to lose to Brighton. Brighton hasn't been playing well. Brighton has been struggling for goals, and somehow they would have found out a way to beat Arsenal, which they did. So they beat Arsenal 2-1.
Let's not forget of over some time. I think this is Brighton's third win against Arsenal in about 5 games. Because I remember a couple of seasons ago they actually did the double over them. So Brighton seemed to be Arsenal's kryptonite
They
to a
have
sense.
they have their number.
Yeah.
Chelsea totally demolished Southampton. Mason Mount with 2 goals and an assist.
Hmm.
Um,
Their new
6-0.
owner Benzema must be pleased.
Leeds finally scored some goals. 3-0 against Watford.
Leeds actually won a game. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Leeds won a game, and then Spurs. Hugh Sung-min, this guy is just a monster.
I would say it like this: if we don't get Harry Kane, let's go for Son. I would prefer Son in my team.
Son has a hat trick. It just pains me. I feel hurt in my stomach that he's not on my fantasy team because people who
Yikes!
have him on their fantasy team and who captain him this week are just ecstatic.
I'm
And
sorry. I'm
he's
sorry.
not on my team, so
I
I'm not
have a I have a love hate relationship with FPL. It loves me. I hate it.
ecstatic. I hear that. So Spurs beat Arsenal. Now, what does that say for the top four race? Manchester City and Liverpool, they're up there. Both of them on the same 30 games played.
And they play
City
tomorrow, I believe,
is,
right?
yeah, they play tomorrow. That they play the last game. I think 11:30 that game starts.
Right.
So City has a 1 point lead on Liverpool.
Yikes.
Liverpool have everything to play for. Liverpool win that game, they'll go top. If the game is a draw, well, both of them would still be fighting for it. If City
Yeah.
wins, they're gonna give themselves a little breathing room. They'll move from 1 point
4 points.
to
Yeah.
4 points. Chelsea, people were wondering if Chelsea were gonna trip and fall down into the fall out of the top four race or make it tight. That win today, Chelsea is,
They gave themselves a lot of breathing room with that win.
yeah. So Chelsea comfortable on 62 points. Spurs has overtaken Arsenal. They are now on 57 points. Arsenal do have a game in hand, but they are 3 points behind. They're on 54. West Ham and Manchester United are tied on 51 points each.
I think we played one game less than West Ham.
Yes.
Right.
We have a game on West Ham.
Right. So once we don't screw that up, hopefully.
As I say, me the only game I'm really looking forward is our game against Arsenal. Manchester United needs to beat Arsenal to
Yes, we
make sure
do.
that Arsenal doesn't get into the top four. If
We
we
do.
don't get into the top four, Arsenal mustn't be top four either. And I mean, it might sound bitter, but I will always bet against our rivals. And our real rivals are teams like Liverpool, City, Chelsea, and Arsenal. Those
Yep.
are our real rivals. I'd really consider Tottenham Hotspur a real rival, right? In the true sense of our rival for Manchester United. So I will really let Tottenham Hotspur get our top four spot and let Arsenal, be out of it. So that's my stance on that. Next game is next week Saturday. Let me just confirm now. And yeah, next game is next week Saturday. Manchester United takes on Norwich at
Right.
10 a.m.
And that's at
and then-
Old Trafford.
say that again.
That's at Old Trafford.
Yes, that's home. Then we go to Anfield and we play Liverpool in the middle of the week on Tuesday. And then the following Saturday we play Arsenal. That is also an early morning kickoff, 7:30 a.m. I don't know where I'm gonna be, but I'm gonna be somewhere to watch that game because it'll just be good to celebrate. I talking ball and I saying celebrate. I'm gonna be good to celebrate beating Arsenal. Time will tell how that goes. Greg, what is there to say to shut down the program, bro?
Do you have that thing lined up I asked you for?
Yeah, man.
All I can say is this. I'm going to need you to just cue it up right after I say this. Being a Manchester United fan is basically synonymous to one thing.
Emotional damage. You want some therapy?
We need
pretty much-
therapy.
That pretty much sums it up right there. That pretty much sums it up right there because that's basically been the story of Manchester United's season. Those two words. And I just feel like I would hope that we're able to end it on some kind of a high to basically kind of soften the blow of not winning any silverware again, not competing for the league again. And it's just like everything that we so hoped and expected has just gone down the drain. So right now, my mind, I put this up as a status on Twitter. I was like, is it the end of May yet? Because that is where my head is at. I want us to just basically complete the Ten Hag deal, give the man what he wants. Because honestly, allowing anybody inside of Manchester United who is not in the management team, who is not involved in the football side of things, any kind of power over transfers, over recruitment, over anything related on the football side, makes no sense. If you are not John Mutter, if you're not Darren Fletcher, if you're not Aaron Ten Hag, if you're not Ralph Ranick, you should have no say. Eric wants control over the players that he wants to come into this club. Give it to him. Because he's the manager. He knows what he wants. He knows what style he wants to play. Don't tie him hands behind his back and make him have to work with what's already there. Because we have clearly seen that what is currently there is not good enough. It's
Correct.
tiring. It is depressing. And I am done with it. If I watch any of those players that are on that field right now, and I see at least the majority of them still there, because we know some are going at the end of this season. But if I still see the likes of the Aaron Wan-Bissakas and the Nemanja Matic is still starting, and Juan Mata is still here and he gets a contract extension, and then Phil Jones is still here and he gets a contract extension, I will just basically just sign off from the rest of the season because Ten Hag will be basically working with a gun to his head. And that is not fair to him. Yeah, John.
Yeah, well, I mean, very little to add to that. That is what it is. I don't know what we could do to make this season feel good at this point. You know, as I say, I just looking forward to that Arsenal game. And I really hope we could do the business and beat Arsenal.
Fingers crossed.
That's it. Other than that, it's to hope that the back room at Manchester United gets fixed. Hope that not just the coach, but the right assistant and the right players are sought.
Let him get his team. That's what he needs.
After in the summer. And that's it. We had to look forward to the next season. When if we beat Norwich, we beat Norwich. I mean, if we pull up our big upset and beat Liverpool, we beat Liverpool. But at this stage, we don't really have anything to celebrate, and we should try to avoid having to take the antidepressants. So, on that note,
mine is rum.
Remember, guys, please like, please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Please tell people about the channel. Spread the word out there. Red Devils don't die. We multiply. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, people.